now this brings us to our featured speaker today, our rising star, Ariel Radke. She's been in the business 3 years. She corrected me, and in the first 2 months of her third year, she's already capped. And she set some big goals since I met her, last year. She's set big goals and attained them, and she just, consistently can see the drive and the passion that she has for achieving her goals. So I'm going to turn that over to Phil. Phil's going to spend some time interviewing her and learning some of the secrets to her success. So.
Absolutely, Ariel. And first off, you got to remember she has a pirate's name. You got to roll those R's. So it's Ariel Radke. R. You got to remember the R's. So Ariel, I don't know where you're at. You were on my screen. Did you unmute yourself so we can find you? There you are. So you joined us prior to being in real estate 2 years and a couple months ago. What did you do for a living?
So I went to Saginaw Valley State University, where I graduated with a double major in communications and criminal justice. So during my time there, I was pretty sure I was going to be following what I thought was going to be my career in inmate rehabilitation with animals. So I got my internships, I did my job shadowing, I did everything right. And when I graduated, it was kind of couldn't find the right job for me. I was very, I don't want to say picky, but I had other hobbies that I didn't want to give up just for a job that wasn't going to pay me what I was worth. So that's kind of how I found real estate.
That's great. And you came in and you had no sales background at all, right?
None at all.
So when you decided to get into real estate, first off, you've done an incredible job, and I want to congratulate you on that. I'm a big supporter and fan of yours. You've done, because you're always around, you're always doing things to make yourself better. So why don't you start with, just for the new agents out there, or even some of the agents that come from other companies. So what did your first few months look like? What did you do in our office? Because you got a pretty good start to begin with, but then you just kept building momentum. So why don't you tell us how you did that?
Yeah, so the first couple months I was in Keller Williams, it was all about Ignite and talking with Jan and Pat and Andrea about how I can expand. And so the first couple months I was doing the garage sales. So that to me was easier than door knocking. So I started off with.
Explain that.
So
Explain doing the garage sales.
you would find the garage sale, like the sub sales, and you would kind of go, and I'd had my name tag on, and you would just kind of strike up the conversation with, what are you doing? Are you moving? Are you getting ready to move? Are you thinking about moving? And I was just passing out business cards. I was giving them 3-4 business cards at a time. And so I was doing that almost all of that summer. And then when it got to be a little bit colder, I was trying to figure out a different way, and I joined the Rochester Chamber. And from there, what I did was I filled up my calendar with appointments with people, insurance agents, lenders, anybody in the community that would talk to me. I was setting up one-on-one meetings with. And that's honestly how I've built a lot of my connections that have gotten me here. So it wasn't that I got referrals right away, but you start to see it when you build those relationships with them. So now I have some really great connections that do send me referrals. And it was just because I reached out on the phone and was like, hey, I'm a new agent in the Macomb area. Would you like to grab a coffee or, get out of the house, during the colder weather? So I was doing a lot of one-on-ones, garage sales, listening to Jan about just keep talking to people, just keep letting people know that you're a real estate agent.
And let's talk a little bit about Jan, because I think you've mentioned to me that she has been a big force in your success. So how often you meet with her? I mean, you did group as well as individual?
Yeah, so I started doing group and then we moved to individual. And for me, doing the individual really took it to another level. It was more figuring out what I was good at and how to tailor that to real estate. So what did I enjoy doing and how could I make that into my real estate career? So that kind of took me to the new level. So Jan was constantly pushing me. Any questions I ever had, even if you thought they were stupid, it's like, Jan, I just needed your help. And she would coach me right through it. She would coach me through scripts. There's a lot of times where I would get an email from another agent or a client, and I'm like, I don't know what script to use. I don't know the best way to go about it. And she knew exactly what to say. And so by doing that, I've only gotten better, and it's helped me problem solve now.
What do you think of scripts?
Well, for me, scripts are a little scary. I think I'm a very genuine person. And so for me, having scripts it's a task. So for me, during Ignite, when I was new, it was a very nerve-wracking thing. And so what I did was I started watching a lot of like YouTube videos. I started joining real estate agent Facebook groups as well. And so I would watch people role play in the beginning. And then once I started getting a little bit more comfortable with that, then that just kind of like you just automatically know what to say. It doesn't become a script anymore. So that's helped me a lot.
Yeah, so I like your point. So once you internalized it, it no longer was a script, it was just part of your dialogue.
Yep.
And by the way, this morning we were talking, and I remember Jan, we were having a conversation one time. Jan told an agent who said, I don't want to learn any scripts. And she said, if you don't want to learn scripts here, by the way, by going through that fear, you got to profit, right? You got to be what you want because you kind of like your job now.
Yep. Oh, I love my job.
Yeah. So anyhow, Jan was talking, and I happened to be walking by, and Jan says, well, you don't have to learn this script. So let's worry. If you're not willing to learn any scripts, let me teach you the scripts you're probably going to need to know next. And the guy says, okay, what's that? He says, would you like fries with that? And can I supersize it? Right. Although McDonald's doesn't ask you to supersize anymore because apparently that's bad. But, so everybody has scripts in life, right? Yeah. You learn how to say hi to people and smile. That's the script, right? So, and you've done a really good job on that. So your goals, you talk about setting goals and using coaching and groups to set goals. So first off, how are you doing with that as far as your goals?
Really good. So my first year in real estate, I did not cap. My second year in real estate, I capped in just under 6 months, and my goal was to cap before my wedding. So I wanted to make sure I capped before February, and I did. So that was really exciting. This year, my goal was just to cap sooner than that was under the 6 months than I did the second year. So I just wanted to beat that goal. And then when COVID happened, it was kind of like everything kind of got put on pause and the deals kind of started just delaying like a little bit. So all of those deals I would have had when I capped before, they kind of got moved into my third year. So that worked out really well. To be honest, I didn't think I was going to cap that quick. And so when the deals kept going, I was like, all right, I can do this. I can cap before my goal.
And how many deals do you have this month going to close?
So this month, I already had one close this month. I have another one in the beginning of the month and one towards the end of the month. So like almost one a week right now. So
one a week. That's not bad. I know one of the things we're going to share is some guy took you off the market last year, as you mentioned earlier. And one of your goals was to try to make as much money as he makes, right?
Yeah.
And how do you think that's going to work out this year?
I think it's going good. So so my goal was to make more than my husband. So I was like, all right, I can do this. And then
But don't rub it in.
But then he started getting more overtime now with COVID. He works for pharmaceuticals. So he's been getting more overtime. So that's pushed me. Now I'm like, I have to get another deal. So now it's a level competition. So.
And I think you're on pace to stay even with him or beat him.
I hope to beat him. I'm on pace. So.
And that's incredible. So what advice? And now, before I get to the advice question, I have one more question I want to ask you. So have you embraced our technology yet with Cornelia? Have you set up any of that stuff yet?
Yeah,
And
so
how's it?
Cornelia helped me a lot when we were down with COVID. So I was watching all of her videos on Facebook. I was setting up one-on-ones to try to figure out the different technology, because I truly believe the technology, along with the agents, is what sets us above the other agents. And I won a listing based on the Keller Williams technology during the COVID time. So I went on a listing appointment, and she already interviewed another agent. And I was like, so I went in there and I had my presentation set up, and I was just telling her all the awesome things that Keller Williams was offering us, as far as like the virtual tours, the Matterports, um, the comparison with the offers that Command is kind of getting into. And I won the listing because I actually took the time to tell them about everything that we're doing to improve ourselves during this time. So I won the listing and we got it closed. We got a cash offer. So it was amazing.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, we didn't do the Matterport on that because it sold so fast, right? Or
We
was
did
that not?
Matterport. Yeah, but then it sold in 2 days. Yeah. So we did do the Matterport. It sold really quick.
Which was not bad. But
No.
I think you brought up some good points there. I hope everybody's catching on. And I'm going to open up in a few minutes. So if anybody has a good question for you, they can ask. But you've been a student of real estate the whole time you've been here, and you're very learning based. How much do you think that's added to your ability to take it to the level where you're 6 figures and up going forward for the rest of your career?
I think it's 100% of never stop learning. After I graduated college, I kind of went through that phase of like, what am I going to do? And I jumped right back into real estate learning. So for me, I'm never going to stop learning. That's just something that's been ingrained in me with a lot of different activities in my life. And if you limit yourself when you stop learning and just say, well, it works for me so far, I guess this is how I'm going to do it, it's not going to work forever. So you want to constantly learn. The thing that I've done is I've taken advantage of what you and the team have offered. So the bold, I've taken advantage of asking you questions anytime I'm in the office and seeing you. Jan, I mean, I can text her anytime and I know that she's going to give me the best advice possible. Group coaching, it's just, I join every Facebook group I can with real estate agents to figure out what they're doing and what's working for them, and how to improve not only my business, but my relationships too with my clients and my relationships with my network, so that never fails. Because I don't want to lose my database. I want to protect my database. And so by learning and constantly growing, not only as an agent, but as a person, I think that has helped me tremendously.
And do you know what your number is on your database yet?
I know so it's over 300, I know.
And you probably should take advantage of Cornelia and have her download your phone, which probably has 1 million people in it that you may not want to.
Yeah, exactly. Some of those people, I don't know.
I think at first, and correct me if I'm wrong, at first you were a little leery of dealing too much with people you knew really close.
100%. That scared me because because it was kind of like one of those like fake it till you make it things. And I felt that they could see through that.
Well, because they knew you were just a college student not that long ago.
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
So how did and that gets to be a lot of people's issue with dealing with people they know. And you work through it, and I think we've had a few conversations about it. So you work through it actually 2 ways, right? One is you learn more, so you get comfortable. But also, you told me one time, and I don't know if you even remember this, you told me that you knew that even if you didn't know the answer, you could get the answer. So you'd care more about them than anybody else.
Correct. Yeah, I would. So I got to a point where I was seeing people on Facebook saying that they were buying or they were selling. And I was like, okay, maybe if I would have reached out to them, they would have offered me at least an interview. So it got to a point where I just didn't care anymore. I reach out now to Facebook and to the people that like your Facebook page. So not everybody that likes your Facebook page is friends with you on Facebook. So I reach out to the people on Facebook probably at least quarterly. And it's a, hey, how are you doing? Just keeping in touch with them that way. And now if they don't answer me, they don't answer me. It's fine. I don't care. Same with my phone. Like I'll call like, my husband's random aunts or whatever, just, hey, how are you doing? And if they don't pick up, they don't pick up, but at least I know that I tried. And at least I know that I am giving it my all.
And if they don't call back, you're not taking it personal.
No, I realized that there's more business out there after that. So in the beginning, when you're an agent, it's like losing a deal is the end of the world. But really, it's like, okay, well, where can I go get 3 or 4 more deals at now? So this one person doesn't want me or wasn't picking up the answer. Okay, well, where can I go get more deals at now?
That's awesome answer. And any advice you'd give to anybody that's not hitting their goals, or whether they're new or old, if they're not with a short time, long time, if they're not hitting goals, what would be your best advice to them to catch up or to get where they want to be?
My biggest advice, so my goal, I guess, in life is that I just want to do what makes me happy. So I want to be able to travel. I'm very involved with, I have multiple dog rescues, animal rescues. I'm on the board for a nonprofit. And by doing things that you love, you create a whole nother sphere of people. So just by doing what I love and getting out into your hobbies and your activities, you actually create those relationships to take you further. And those are going to be the relationships that are going to take you through your career with the referrals. So for me, my biggest advice was don't stop doing what you love, and use that as an opportunity to have real estate connections in your life. So what I did is I took my love for animals and my volunteering, and now I got 4 deals, May, June, and July, that I closed from just doing what I love and telling people that I'm in real estate. So don't be a secret agent. It's very nerve-wracking in the beginning when you're like, oh, like, what are people going to say? Are people going to ask me questions I don't know? At the end of the day, they don't know what you know. So don't be afraid to post on social media. Don't be going live on Facebook. That was always so nerve-wracking for me. But now if it's not good, it's fine. People don't care. I get messages afterwards about it, usually saying like, hey, I liked your live, or I like great video. And it doesn't matter if it's not like a real estate related question. It's just that somebody was watching and somebody acknowledged it. So
And you are very sincere, and you've always been, and it shows. And I think one of the reasons, some people do volunteerism to try to get deals. You do volunteerism because you love it, and the deals follow, right?
people work with who they like, and they work with who they trust. And that's what I learned the most is be yourself, do what you love, and the deals will follow.
Especially if you keep training and learning like you are. So
Right.
congratulations. You've done a great job. Is there anybody else who has maybe a question for her that you'd like to ask? And Ariel, I'd like to thank you for volunteering, because I know it's nerve-wracking for me to call you up and say, hey.
I got a question, Phil.
Yeah, okay. But thank you. Brian, the rest of it's yours.
The rest is mine. Well, hopefully it'll trigger some questions from some other people. So I love the fact that you said you're able to kind of let it go if people don't answer, that you're not taking it personal anymore. And it sounded like maybe in the beginning as a new agent, you were worried about losing those deals. So where did that mindset shift come for you, just to help anybody who might be struggling through that right now?
I think so. When you get your first deal, right, it's the best feeling ever when you get that first deal. But then you're constantly thinking, well, I don't know when the next deal is coming. And so for me, my mindset shifted when it says, It's not when it's not like if the next deal is coming, it's going to be happening soon. You just have, like, you can go out and get a deal if you put your mind to it. You can find somebody, you can door knock, you can call, you can go through your whole Facebook and, not give up until you set an appointment. So for me, my mindset changed when it's not, who knows when I'm getting the next deal. It's the next deal's coming soon. So you just got to keep working and picking up the phone or messaging people. So that's really when my mindset changed.
So basically, yeah, go ahead, Phil.
I was gonna say, I think you just got to the point where you didn't take no's as personal.
Yeah.
Right. At first you took no's as personal. It was somebody didn't like you. Right. And I think you got to the point very early in your career that it wasn't a problem through Ignite. It was just, you didn't care about how many no's you got. It was how many yeses you got.
Yeah. And then, like,
Quick
when you start working with people and they start noticing your work and like how you do treat them with like respect, and you get those good reviews on Facebook, it's like a confidence booster. And it's like, okay, you can do this. You are a real estate agent. You're not just somebody trying to be a real estate agent.
Is there anything you do specifically to get those reviews? Like afterwards, like do you ask people or?
Yep. So when I get done with a closing, so what I do is every time I go to the closing table, I sponsor an animal at the Humane Society of Macomb in my client's name, and I send them a card with their animal that they sponsored and the name. And I usually follow up with that card that says like, "Hey, I just want to give other people the same customer service that I gave you. Would you mind?" And I send the link to my Facebook right to and I mean, 9 out of 10 times they're more than happy. Sometimes they get to it before I even get to send out the email. So
Cool. Is there, and how do you use those referrals? Like maybe in a listing presentation or anything? Do you?
yeah, so I'm constantly updating my listing presentation with the reviews at the end of different clients, and I try to mix it up with listings and buyers. And I also, I do that too with, so like this one client, she was so sweet. She not only did a review, but then she posted on Facebook, and like her husband shared it, and it was just like a constant like cycle of her friends and family sharing it. So from that aspect, you ask if you can take like snippets of what, the Facebook status says, and you can put it in quotes. So I've done that too before. So sometimes people will say really nice comments, not even on your page, that you can use.
Cool. No, thank you for sharing that. That's awesome there. Any other tricks that you have, like in working with, have you had any multiple offer situations on buyers since, in the last couple of months? Yeah. Any tricks that you, yeah.
The escalation clauses I've been doing. And so one thing that I think I've been doing too is I have been reaching out to the agent to let them know that I'm submitting an offer. And I just try to be as genuine, and like I understand their situation too. Like I understand that, they want the best for their client. And so I try to create that relationship, with them. As far as like, I'm not going to bug you. I'm not going to, I'm going to let you do your job, and I'm going to make sure that we give each other the same respect. So for me, and so we were in a multiple offer situation. We lost. And a week later, not a week, it was about 4 or 5 days, the buyer got cold feet, and she reached out to me and was like, "Hey, like, I just respect that, you took the news professionally. You guys did have a strong offer. The buyer fell through. Would you like to resubmit, and we'll accept if it's the same offer?" So we ended up getting the deal like 4 days later, which was great. But it just goes to show, like, just being kind and just being nice to people really goes a long way.
And that's great. So you're even nice to other agents and maintaining those
Yeah, I mean, there's like, we're all in the same like crazy COVID multiple offer situations together. So I mean, I'm not, you gotta be professional and work for the best interest of your buyer, and you can still be professional and genuine at the same time.
Cool. So one more question for you. What's the biggest challenge you had to overcome in real estate in the last 3 years?
The last 3 years was just, I think it was just getting out of my own head and feeling that I was just, like I said before, that I wasn't just somebody playing a real estate agent. It's that I am a real estate agent. Um, and so, you know, your friends and your family, they look at you, like for me, it was in college. Like, so they looked at what I was going to be doing. And then when I did a 180 and did something completely different with real estate, I got a lot of like mixed questions and mixed advice about that. And I just knew that this was on me, that if I was going to fail, it was because I didn't work hard enough. And I was not going to let that happen. I was not going to fail at this. So my mindset, I just had to get out of my own head that I can do this.
Cool. Well, thank you for sharing that. So I think that's our biggest enemy sometimes is ourselves, right?
100%. And we do a lot of like self like hate talk and stuff like that. I mean, there's days where, you know, you lose out on like 3 offers for a client that you've been working so hard. And I mean, it's easy to come home and be down on yourself and wonder why, or wonder, you know, how come this one's not going as easy as other ones. But it just motivates you to learn better and to figure out how to win those deals better. And so, I mean, you just take it as a learning opportunity.
Can I add one more question? One more quick one. You made a point, and I just want to make sure, because I'm sure every agent has run into it. You said that when you decided to get into real estate, you got mixed reviews, right? Because everybody was in real estate before or knew somebody was in real estate and how terrible it was and all this and that. And yeah, and being in the business when you first started, I know there was a couple times that people took pretty nasty shots at you, right? Like, you know, she's just a pretty young girl. She has no substance, which anybody gets to know you knows you are all substance and carry, right? But how did you personally take those? How did you deal with it? Because I think a lot of agents get that, where they have, my brother was in real estate 30 years ago and he became an alcoholic because of it, you know, and stuff. How did you deal with it and deflect it so that it didn't affect you?
It was really hard in the beginning. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, a lot of people are like, "Oh, well, you spent 5 years in college and now you're doing real estate," and it's like, thanks, okay. And how I deflected it was, to be honest, I have more freedom than a lot of those people that say that. I have a lot more time to do what I love. And to be honest, I'm probably making decent money with them. And I still get I get all the freedom and perks of owning my own business. So for me, I deflected it saying that I'm not just a real estate agent, but I'm a business owner and I own what I do. And I think the biggest way was I just succeeded and I had no other option. I was going to succeed. So I wasn't going to let anybody tell me differently. And as cliche as that sounds, it was just like, no, I'm not gonna let myself down with this one.
And you haven't. You've done great. Thank you. And I'm glad to be here.
Yes. I mean, without you guys and the team, I don't know if I would be in the same position I am in now. Without joining the Keller Williams team and the Keller Williams family, I don't know if I would have been in the same position. So I can't thank you guys enough for your coaching and guidance. And I know I have, you know, asking the questions is the biggest thing, is when you have questions and you don't know where to go and you don't know where to turn, at least I know that I have a support system behind me with this.
Ariel, so this is Liz. I have a question, although Brian took my first 7, but I want to say congratulations. when I called you to congratulate you, you were more than welcome to kind of chat with me and create that relationship. And I think that's number one, is really building the relationship. And I also have the same philosophy of, just be kind, just be genuine and sincere. And I think, it's important, if you love what you do, that's going to shine through, and it's very apparent with you. And I think that is a major strength in your business. I think there's a lot of points that have been covered. I guess my question would be, how did you create structure for yourself so that you were effective with your time and really focused on building your business in a strategic way rather than, just kind of willy-nilly? Do you use are there best practices that you kind of follow to help set yourself up for success?
Yeah, so Jan actually helped me a lot with that during Ignite, which is time blocking and setting goals. So I set goals for myself on what I need to accomplish every week. So, I always look at like the next week and try to do that with time blocking. But really, it was Jan and Ignite that really set me up to be accountable. So when I had my weekly meetings with Jan, I didn't want to let her down. So I needed to accomplish what I needed to do that week. So so my weeks are always different, like everybody else's, with, volunteering, with family. And so what I do is I make sure that I know if I want to do, 3 appointments a week, that those 3 appointments get scheduled first. And then lead generation is huge. And for me, every day with that is a little bit different based on like what I feel I need to do for lead gen. So whether it's Facebook, whether it's calling people, because I have noticed that you get different responses throughout the day depending on what type of lead gen you're doing. So calling in the morning, sometimes my Facebook, I will Facebook, around dinner time, just because I feel like a lot of people are home from work and they're settling in, and I just get a better response from that. So for me, I really take it week by week and what I want to accomplish that week.
That's great. That's wonderful. And then secondly, just, I know you had mentioned that you've been working with Cornelia, and, she's been amazing. And, just as a reminder, anybody that needs any help with any type of technology, she's definitely the go-to gal. But what have you found to be most helpful in utilizing Command and some of the different tools and resources that are available?
For me, one of the things I really like is the design aspect of Command. So when you start playing around with that, you can do videos for a specific area, and you can like plug in information from the MLS on how many houses were listed and if it's going up. There's just so many different designs that you can do for social media, or for emails, or for texting. So I have a lot of first-time home buyers. That's just the market that I'm in a lot of the time. A lot of my friends are buying and they know people. So sometimes I'll even text different designs that I make in Command to them. Just saying like, hey, like, did you know this is happening in the market? So for me, Command has really helped me with my design, social media, marketing components. That has been one of the greatest things that I've gotten from Command.
That's great. And I have one more question, or actually it's through the chat box that we got a question about. How did you find Keller Williams Platinum, and what made your decision, or how did you come aboard?
So my parents, before I was in real estate, my parents were selling their house, were trying to sell it. And they were having a really bad experience with their agent, and it did not go well at all. Their agent just wasn't, it was like a condescending, only talking to my dad situation. It was just not, they were not happy. So that's kind of when my mom was like, Ariel, you'd be, pretty good at this, I think. And so my mom actually was friends with Chrissy Zambis. So they networked a lot together, and she's like, you should just go talk with her. And so from there, I talked to Chrissy, and it was kind of like a done deal that I was going to be going to Keller Williams no matter what. She sold me very quickly on Keller Williams. So
What
there was
sold
no
you?
other option.
What was it? What sold you?
It was just so much, like how she said that you can earn 100% of your commission. I mean, she talked about, you know, the team aspect, the family aspect. She talked about how you get the training, and that's really what I was, or you know, like nervous about. You know, coming out of college, that's what you need, is you need to learn, you need to train on how to do this. So she was telling me all about the group coachings and the trainings. And so I actually, she was at a different Keller Williams before Platinum. So I actually did um, my schooling at the other KW. And so the whole training was great. And then when she moved, I was like, I'm moving too. And it was the best decision ever. Absolutely the best decision ever. So
That's great. I mean, with me being new to the team, I think I'm starting my 4th week, realizing just the amount of resources and how amazing Jan is and how lucky and fortunate we should feel, to have her expertise and her long line of success in this business. So that's wonderful that you're utilizing those tools and the technology and the coaching. I mean, really, that's all what's helping set the stage for your success, but then also your drive and your motivation and all that. So congratulations.
thank you.
Any other questions for Ariel? Thank you, Ariel. I really appreciate you sharing your experience with us, your success. I love your positive attitude. I mean, I think that's probably one of your biggest assets, and your resiliency just to, and I guess your big picture thinking. You're looking at everything that's going on out there and know that, that one deal is not going to break you, that there's thousands of deals to go on, tens of thousands of deals to go on every month. And you just need to find that one. So thank you for that attitude.
You guys for everything. I really appreciate all of your help every single day.